Here's some ways that you can improve your style, even if you're a sharply dressed man. I think a great starting point for any man in his wardrobe, whether it be business or casual, is wearing a quality watch. There's a lot of men these days who wear a Fitbit or a Whoop or an Apple Watch, even when it comes to suits. And in my opinion, this does not match. I think men who invest in a quality timepiece, or indeed just an old-fashioned analog watch, separate themselves from the masses who wear Apple Watches and Fitbits. When you wear a luxury watch, or a watch with a stainless steel bracelet or a leather strap with your outfit, it not only adds a little bit of classic refinement, it indicates to the world that you mean business and your presentation matters more to you than just wearing a piece of technology. Sticking with the wrist game, I think a lot more guys could be wearing double cuff shirts. Wearing a double cuff allows you to add a touch of flair and a subtle bit of elegance in the form of cufflinks. Now, cufflinks can come in many different shapes and sizes. The ones I'm wearing now are quite understated, quite business-like, quite formal. But I also think when you wear cufflinks, as long as you don't go too crazy and too loud, it's a nice way to express your personality. It can be a subtle tie-in to something you're passionate about, or it could be something that says something about you. I think when you look at a lot of guys these days, they wear button-up shirts with a button cuff, which, let's face it, it's the standard option, it's the least risky, it's going to go under the radar, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. But I think wearing double cuffs is a nice way to stand apart and add a little bit more refinement to your outfit. How many of you men out there are wearing pocket squares with your suits? It's a simple touch, but it's an elegant one. Pocket squares can elevate both your business suits and your more smart casual outfits in the form of a blazer with a pocket square or a sports coat. Let me start by saying, please do not wear a pocket square which perfectly matches your tie. This screams over coordination and that you bought it in a set together. It doesn't look great. Instead, start off with a white pocket square. What's the most common dress shirt? You're going to see a lot of guys wearing white dress shirts. A pocket square in white will balance it out when you're wearing a tie or no tie. When you do wear a tie with a pocket square, I would advise picking one which picks up one of the colors in your tie. Remember, we don't want to over coordinate, so if we're going to use my example right now, I have a tie which has a little bit of white in it. So even though I'm wearing a blue dress shirt, the white in the pocket square picks up the tie color. Sticking with ties, another way I like to elevate my outfit is to add a dimple when I'm tying my tie. Now you might think, what difference does that make? As long as my tie is symmetrical and it looks neat, it looks good, right? That's true. But when you add a dimple, it adds a little bit more of a visual depth to your outfit. And it indicates that you've taken just that extra 10 or 20 seconds putting your outfit together in the morning to make sure that it looks good. Another common thing you might see in people who are just getting started in wearing suits or dressing more sharply is wearing shirts which have a small collar to them. You'll often see this in cheaper shirts, more budget shirts that followed that sort of fast fashion trend in the 2010s, whereby wearing everything really slim fit and skinny ties was the trend. In actual fact, wearing a shirt with a longer collar indicates that it's a higher quality. Lastly, gentlemen, but most certainly not least, please make sure you invest in a quality pair of shoes. When it comes to dress shoes, in my opinion, the best pair you can get is a pair of black Oxfords. Black Oxfords are as classic and as timeless a shoe as you're ever going to find. Another great option might be derbies, or if you're not wearing such a formal outfit, loafers. But whichever pair you go for, ideally look for ones that have a Goodyear welt to them. If you don't know what a Goodyear welt is, this means that the shoes can be resoled, essentially extending the life of the shoe from 6 months if you buy a really budget pair to years, possibly even decades. The pair that I'm wearing today, I bought for only $100 here in Australia, and I knew they were a good investment because they have that Goodyear welt. They have a quality feel for them, And then perhaps even depending on the season, when it gets into winter and there's a lot more rain, you can have them resoled so that they have a rubber grip to them, more weather appropriate. And when you do get that good pair of dress shoes, make sure that they're polished. How many men do you see that have a nice pair of shoes on that are all scuffed around the toes or the ankles? It's not a great look, guys. If you can buy a shoe brush or some shoe polish, just take 5 minutes once a week to polish your shoes, make sure that they are looking nice and sharp. Trust me. And gentlemen, never forget that you can buy the outfit, you can add the details, but at the end of the day, it's the man who makes the suit. Carrying it with confidence, that's what's going to make the statement.